Alright, good morning everybody, and it is morning where I'm at. Today we're going to take a look at my latest web creation called the Mini Machine. And it's basically a little web app. It's not really a website, or maybe it is, who knows. But it's basically a program that allows you to consolidate character images and format them in a way that you can print out and turn into paper minis for the use with tabletop role-playing games. So anyways, this is what it looks like sans the video, which I happen to be filming right now. And over here you have the main index. And the first thing you gotta do is you gotta prove you're not a robot, because the internet is just crawling with robots. And they are a nuisance. Anyways, you look at this equation and you solve it. I already have. I pop the number in the box here and you click start. And it says, well done, humanoid. Thank you. And we are in. Now you notice the index has changed and you now have a tab for preferences, which applies to the sheet you're going to create, and a create new sheet tab, which is actually kind of a button of sorts. It's going to ask you for a name, and since I cannot type and record at the same time, there you go. Paste it in, and that is it. It takes us right into the editor, where it's going to wait for you to insert your images. So you go up here. Oh yeah, if you ever need help, just float your cursor over these titles and you'll get little bits of information. But basically, these buttons right up here are all about the sheet, and this is where you change the individual minis themselves. So we're going to load up our image of a sword maiden here. And it takes a little while to load at first because, well, we're dealing with print, and with print you want a big image file. Otherwise, it's going to come across as kind of cruddy. But once it loads up, it moves pretty quickly. Now, by clicking on her image, I loaded her into the mini editor over here on the side. And this is something I love, is that it doesn't just, splat down your images on a piece of paper. It allows you to change the size of the image so that they all kind of look like, they're relative to each other. So this right here is a big ruler measured in feet. And so the top of her head is probably around 5 feet 7 inches right there. That's pretty good. If I want, I could shorten her down. I could say she's a dwarf. And I think if you get below 60 inches, yeah, the ruler changes. It explodes to basically makes it easier for you to deal with. But no, we'll take her back up. And then there are these other settings you can change around. The spot is right here. It'll appear on all minis, and it has a number which corresponds to, well, yeah, the number in the mini, yeah. You can change the color on it, make hers blue, and you can put it from the left or the right side. Oh, left is good. In the end, you want to click save, and this bar will light up around the button to tell you that you've made changes that need to be saved. And there, it's been updated. And we'll throw another one on there. One of my fish things. An image I actually drew, thank you. Now, he is going to be a short guy. So we'll put him down around 4 feet. And he's facing sideways. So we want to mark it as facing sideways. And that's going to control the mini it creates, which I'll show you in just a second. Spot's good. We'll color it green. Where's green? There we are. And actually, count is really neat. If you want to replicate a whole bunch of minis, like I want a bunch of these little guys, let's turn up to 5. We'll hit save. Now it hasn't done anything really here, except notice that the spot is now a circle. That indicates a sideways facing mini as opposed to one that's front on. Now let's take a look at that sheet. If you click the sheet button, this is what it generates. And see, there are my 5 different little minis, and they're all facing sideways. Another thing is, she's a front-facing mini, so the back side is actually going to be kind of ghosted out to kind of tell you which side is front and which is back. You don't get that with the sideways minis. And back to the machine. Let's throw in another one of these guys. This will be the big leader of the party. And we're going to make him huge, just to get across the point of sizing up your miniatures and how cool that is. And we'll go back to the sheet and reload it. See, now you can see the huge difference in size between them all. And it makes a stunning impression on the table when you bring them out like that. So, at least I hope it does. Anyways, so yeah, there's my sheet. If I wanted to rename it something, I could do that. And if I want to delete it, I can do that. But the main point is really just this. You know, this is your end product. And you would right click and you'd save the page as something. I've saved it before. How many times have I done this film? Way too many. Yes, I do want to replace it. And you really want to keep that hard copy, because over here on the sample bar, clicking this takes you to it, just in case you have multiple sheets. Like as I said, I can't type and film at the same time. You know, put a picture of my dog in there. Yeah, you can load up any picture just as long as it's a JPEG and under 5 megabytes of size. Let's see what she creates. And that is something I would never use in a game. But basically, you see I can bounce back and forth between them. But what I meant to tell you about is the number out here. I actually wrote this program like ages ago. I'm talking almost a decade ago. I started it, and I never released it to the public because I was under the idea that you always had to have, like, you know, a user ID and a password and give them your email address, which is something just nobody wants to do, not even myself. And it's kind of like a necessary evil for websites, because you gotta keep track of everybody's stuff. And then just recently, I think it was Tim Harper was doing his Make Something Damn It challenge. I thought, you know, wouldn't it be great to get this program online? And is there any way to get around that? And my answer was that, well, let's not be a storage facility. let's let people make their mini sheet and then just automatically terminate it after a certain amount of time. So this is actually a countdown timer. You notice I just babbled on for a whole minute. It's turned from 60 to 59. And basically when it reaches 0, it's going to delete this sheet. So yeah, you really want to save that printout that the sheet button creates, because it will eventually be gone. And that's a good thing, because, you know, as I said, no passwords. On my end, I don't have to monitor the images that are used, and also it allows us to use larger, more print-friendly images. Blah, 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 blah. I just woke up, by the way. Did I tell you that? Yeah. It allows us to use larger, more print-friendly images for the mini sheets themselves. So, you know, you can just move away from the site at this point, and in 58 minutes it will be gone. Now, if you're working on the mini page, anytime you do something substantial to it, it's going to reset that timer. Even just clicking on its sample, but, you know, fooling around with the mini, that will do it. Creating a sheet will do it. You know, anything like that. But in the end, it will all just be cleaned off. Or you can do it yourself. You can delete the sheet very quickly. I think it allows you to create up to 10 sheets at one time, and then it stops you. So that's the actual website itself. Next up, oh yeah, if you need stands, click this link here. It goes to Rawlco Games, and that's where I bought my stands, and they're great. I mean, pretty simple, but you know, the plastic stands themselves are like really hard to find. I mean, they don't sell them in stores, and it's hard to even know what to search for. So it actually took me a very long time to find my way to Rawlco Games, and I'm glad I did. But anyways, that's it for the website end of it. Now I am actually going to go and print out my sample sheet, and I'll show you how to cut them up and turn them into actual minis. So. Alright, hey, here I am. I'm at my desk, and I've got my all of my cutting supplies together, and it's always good to assemble them first. So first, nice cutting mat, X-Acto knife, a metal ruler for dragging the X-Acto knife along. Wooden ones tend to get cut up. Packing tape, also known as cheap lamination, and Hungry Howie's pizza box top. So if anybody ever wonders why I'm stockpiling these things, this is exactly it. Glue stick, and some Rawlco plastic stands for the minis to go in, and of course my printout. This is what it looks like. And so I got one big one, and my Sword Maiden, and 5 little fish things. Alright. First thing we do, oh yeah, cup of coffee. Cutting these things up. So you always want to make your longest cuts first. And there's little silver lines on the page that I'm not sure are showing up in video or not, but they're there. They tell me where to slice. Oh, there's also this little thing. That blue bar, it says 96 pixels, and that is supposed to be 1 inch long. Most printers print 96 pixels per inch. So, yeah, that's exactly it. If your printer is printing otherwise, there is a setting in preferences where you can change that to bring it into calibration, but you'll probably have to do a whole lot of printing stuff out to get it right. Luckily, I think most printers print 96 pixels per inch, so you probably won't have to, hopefully you won't have to worry about that. Anyways, and that is my dog barking in the background. He loves to bark when I'm trying to record something. I'll try this big guy first. Already I'm starting to think that I may make those cut lines a little bit darker. Maybe it's just the lighting in here is hard to see by. Hard to say. Anyways, this is a sideways facing mini, but this is also one where I chose the fold to be on the side instead of the top. These all have top folds. So what I'm going to do is make that fold. And you just bring the two edges together as best you can. Pinch them taut. And just go on that outer edge. And there we go. Pretty nice. Now we laminate it. And to laminate it, this is what the pizza board is for. You always want to laminate your minis, otherwise that paper is going to get Cheeto dust all over it and it won't last very long. What I like to do is I like to put my thumb in the middle of the piece of tape, press down there, and then move out to the sides. And if you do it quick and tight, you won't get any bubbles or creases. Much easier to do smaller minis than the big ones, because usually you can cover them with just one piece of packing tape. And of course it's also good to make sure your tapes overlap. That gives you a nice seal. And now that I've taped it to the pizza board, I gotta slice it free again. I could use the ruler, but the paper itself is giving me a slight edge to follow along. That's usually good enough. Okay, and I lift it up. And I take it over to this side, get out the glue stick, and glue from the center out. And you fold it together. You definitely don't want to be trying to make that fold while you're glue sticking. That's why the first thing I do is I fold the mini. Then you just press it right out. And there we go. Nice, solid, shiny. Put it on a stand, or there, you can see it. And notice that they all have a little numbered spot, and that allows the GM to, makes it easier for the GM to tell which one corresponds to which creature that they're running in the game. And that is pretty much it. After that, you just do it for all the rest on the page. And it doesn't take long at all. I've seen some people that like to meticulously, carve out their minis so they don't have any white edge around it. To me, that's overkill. I got better things to do. In fact, I am right now just going to knock out the rest of them. And we'll get them all together. Alright, there they are, all assembled and ready for action. It looks like things are about to get interesting. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and enjoy making some minis. Later.